Hi, everybody. This is Jim Saffron with Pure Vintage Media, and welcome to our podcast interview. Recently, I spent some time with Austin John Doody, an outstanding guitarist out of the Nashville area. In addition to being an in-demand studio musician, Austin, along with his wife Dawn, can be seen playing in that great group, the Hi-Jivers. Now, Austin's also the gentleman that does those terrific video demos of vintage guitars and amps for Elliot Michael's Rumble Seat Music. I really enjoyed interviewing this humble man, so please join me in welcoming to Pure Vintage Media, Austin John Doody. Hi, everybody. This is Jim Saffron with Pure Vintage Media, and welcome to our podcast interview. And this is a favorite of mine. You know, there are a lot of great players in Nashville, young players that are getting noticed. There's the Luke McQuarrie, Luke Gallagher, Matthew Lee, Chuck Ward. But this guy here, Austin John Doody, is one of my favorites. And I get to hear him quite a bit because when we're promoting guitars from one of our dealers, Rumble Seat, he does the demos. And they're always great. And they get a lot of views. I want you to know that, Austin. You're really popular on the Pure Vintage Media channel. I'll prove it to you because I'll show you the views. But when you do a demo, you do a good job of demoing the guitar like it should, and everybody loves it. So, Austin John Doody, welcome. It's nice to have you.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Austin is in Nashville, like I said. You were born in Auburn, New York.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now I spent a lot of time in Rochester.
Sure.
That's pretty cold weather.
Yeah.
I had to do like 2 months in Rochester and got very hardy women up there, and they drink until 2 a.m. and then they're at work by 7 with no fail.
Yeah, it's get a lot of lake effect snow up there. It's cold in the winter, that's for sure. Yeah.
You don't miss it, do you?
I miss the spring, summer, and fall there.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Up there, especially the fall. It's
yeah,
one of the coolest places in the country, I think.
And so, did you when you went to school in New York? Is that correct?
Yeah. I went to school. It was called Union Springs High School, and then I went to a community college in Syracuse called OCC, Onondaga Community College, and then I went to Oneonta, SUNY Oneonta. Yeah. That's yep. But I wasn't studying. I studied music for I think maybe like half a year or a year, and then I switched to just like a general major, But I was playing all the time.
Curious what that was. What was it?
Yeah, I literally just got like a general major just because
okay.
what I wanted to do. But I was playing all the time. I would go to school and play. Yeah.
What was it? All the guitars you get to play at Rumble Seat. Do you have your own collection of great guitars, or?
I do. Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to find some really cool guitars over the years. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. You like that 335, don't you?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites right now. Yeah, it's a 64 335, so it's the same year as Clapton. So it's
very sweet.
One of my favorites. I just got this 1960 Gretsch 6120 that I'm absolutely in love with too. Yeah.
Yeah. Has that got Filtrons on it?
Yeah, it's got Filtrons on it. Yep. Thumbnail inlays. Just play. Yeah.
They all have a different soul, don't they? They just,
every single one.
I used to wonder when I was younger. I used to wonder, well, why are they switching guitars at a concert? Every song it's because it fits the song.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's got its own tone,
their own voice and timbre, and when you play it, every one of these guitars, to me, you play different on every single one of these guitars. At least I do. What I'm thinking and what inspiration I'm drawing from usually.
And when you're soloing, have you already got it worked out in your mind, or do you just kind of go there?
No, it's completely improv. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going to go, what's going to happen. Sometimes it works out great. Sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't have did that.
Then you move on to the next chord.
Yeah, you're just calling. I mean, my favorite guitar players were always right on that edge of, where are they going right now? Where is this going to go? So I always try to go to that place, like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's
Were
exciting.
you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm just saying that's what really keeps guitar exciting to me is like going to those places where you're like, well, I don't know where we're going to end up, but here we go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So were you growing up, were you instantly into this style or did you work your way from rock and roll? How did that progress?
Well, when I was growing up, my dad listened to a lot of Van Halen, so I'd hear Eddie play,
Oh,
and he was really into that era of music, Poison and hair metal and stuff, which I still love.
yeah.
My mom got me into more blues stuff like Stevie Ray Vaughan and
Wow. You had some hip parents.
yeah, for sure. And my mom played saxophone, but my dad didn't play. Well, I guess yeah, my dad played a little bit of guitar. He knew how to play three songs on the guitar: "Paranoid," "Ain't Talking About Love," and "Talk Dirty to Me" by Poison. And he would bust out the guitar like once a year, and he would play those three songs. And I was like, "Why aren't you a rock star?" And
So was that like your earliest inspiration, your dad playing guitar and you wanted to play guitar, or how did that help?
yeah, it was cool to see him play guitar.
Yeah.
It was I really got into like Eddie Van Halen originally, and I would go in the attic and like, I knew his guitar was in there and I would like strum it and then like put it back in its case and you know, go back downstairs. But what really got me going into the guitar was I was on a school bus and a buddy of mine had a Jimi Hendrix CD and we were listening to it. And I heard it, I knew, Purple Haze and
Yeah.
hits, but he played me Red House and it was like I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. What is this?
Yeah.
I was like, I think I was around 14. And then I had a girlfriend that bought me the greatest hits, Jimi Hendrix. And I'll never forget, I went home and like Wind Cries Mary came on and, 6 Was 9 came on and
Mm.
Voodoo Child and all this stuff. And I just remember sitting in my room, just like, what, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And,
Yeah.
um, I was just listening to it on repeat all the time. And my mom was like, well, if you like Jimi Hendrix, you'll probably like Stevie Ray Vaughan. So she got me a Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood. And it was the same
Mm.
time. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And then that started my journey. I just started playing guitar and I was super into that music. And then I'm still where I am today, where it's just, I just keep going back. You go from Buddy Guy to Hubert Sumlin to T-Bone Walker to Gatemouth Brown, and then you keep going further back, BB King and Robert Johnson and Charlie Patton, and it just never ends. It's one of the most inspiring things is trying to find new inspiration from different guitar players.
Yeah, I tell you about YouTube is you find there are guys playing in the 50s, they were playing country bands and they were just killing it on the early Fenders and Stratocasters, speedball.
Yeah,
And you're going, why haven't I heard of this guy?
yeah,
And it's amazing what YouTube's been a real education for that.
been so
Do,
great for that. And it wasn't just blues either. As I was getting into all these blues guys, then I started to get super into rockabilly. And it was Gene Vincent
mm,
Taps and Johnny Burnett Trio, and
mm,
guitars like Grady Martin and Cliff Gallup. And then you get into Western swing and jazz and you know Charlie Christian, Bill Jennings, all these other guitar players. So
yeah.
it just never ends, and it's just you're just snowballing trying to find all this inspiration and oh my god, listen to these chords or listen to this solo line. It's just always been that since I was like 14. I was like, I gotta find the next thing all the time.
I saw an interview with Los Lobos, and I think it was Dick Clark, believe it or not, Mr. Square Dick Clark, and he's go, well, so were you influenced by, Richie Valens? He was hitting all the Latin guitar players. And they're sitting there going, no, we love Merle Haggard. I'm going, yeah.
Heck
And
yeah.
at Fairport Convention, a rock, a English rock band, kind of a rock folk band. I'm going, which was Richard Thompson. And I'm
Yeah.
going, yeah, all right. These guys were listening to the same music I was. You you've got to, just like I think you've traveled quite a bit with the band. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
Internationally?
Yep.
Yeah, and you just see that people are wonderful all over. It's really something that can inspire your songwriting as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so currently you have two bands. It's the Hi-Jivers, is that right?
Yeah, I have the Hi-Jivers, that's with my wife, Donna. And then I have my own band in Nashville. It's just Austin John Band. And then I have an organ trio where I play organ as well. It's just the Austin John organ.
Really?
Yeah. And I play organ. We do a lot of original stuff. We do a lot of Jimmy Smith, Booker
Yeah.
T. Phil Upchurch, Grant Green, very traditional stuff.
Yeah. You got some good roots there. I like it. You're naming all the winners.
Yeah.
Do you have a regular gig that you guys play every week?
We try
Like
to
a
do
residence?
We usually do, it's been a minute just because everyone's been, traveling or busy or whatever, but we try to do Thursdays, every other Thursday, at the East Side Bowl in Nashville. Yeah. And a really great guitar player, Andrew White, and good drummer, Phil Leone.
Yeah.
Just a trio. Yeah. I play bass with my feet and play organ. So it's fun.
Nice. Bass pedals. Okay.
Yeah.
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 It's hard to like not to everybody in Nashville is great. I mean, it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
place. Did you know when you were in New York, this is where I want to end up?
It was either Nashville or Austin.
Okay.
And I was trying to make the decision. And Dawn and I just started dating, and I knew I wanted to move somewhere out of upstate New York. And I felt like Nashville was like happening right then. I mean, I moved here in 2014.
Mhm.
Everybody was talking about Nashville, and I was like, I think we should go to Nashville. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. So we came down here, started a band, and I'm so glad we did. I mean, I love Austin. Austin is amazing, but there's something special about Nashville right
Yeah.
now. Like, with all the
Yeah.
play, there's a great blues scene here too, which is really fun, you know. Um, but there's really any kind of music you want to play, you can play here. It's not just country for sure.
Right. Right. People have a misconception. I mentioned Nashville, and they go, "Oh, I'm not really into country music." I go, gee, I mean, the best players are coming to Nashville.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it's the best place in the world to me. I mean, you can go watch some of the best guitar players in the world any night of the week.
Yeah.
Some of the best songwriters any day of the week. Just musicians in general.
Do you go to Roberts at all to see music?
Yeah, yeah. I play at Roberts all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I love
Yeah.
Roberts. It's my favorite bar downtown for sure.
Yeah. It's great how you can just walk down the street and hang a
Yeah,
left and you're in some place listening to some great music.
yeah.
Um, do you know Red Volker at all?
Oh,
Or
of
do you know
course. Amazing guitar
yeah,
player. Yeah.
yeah. Believe it or not, he comes to Charlotte all the time
Really?
and he plays a little dive bar. This is a place you ought to go. It's called the Thirsty Beaver, and it's shoulder to shoulder. But he packs it. And he plays with a pickup band that he knows in Charlotte,
Cool.
and he doesn't live. He lives 2.5 hours away in Virginia. I've gotten to know him pretty well. I wanted to say we need to get you out to Jimmy Wallace's guitar show in Dallas. It's every May,
Oh
and
yeah.
we got to get you out there. You would really enjoy it. It's
Oh, I'd love to go. Yeah.
I'm going to share some of your music with Jimmy. It's in May. I don't know what
Cool.
your schedule's like, but he's got a. The thing about guitar shows is sometimes it feels like because you guys do a lot with Rumble Seat. I don't know if you go out with Elliot on these, but it's like Antique Roadshow. Everybody drags their guitars from city to city, and it's okay, but at some point it's a little boring. The
Sure.
thing about Jimmy's is there's nonstop entertainment all 3 days, three different stages, and
Cool.
they're the great players. Andy Wood plays there quite a bit, but they're ones that and then they're the guys that play behind the stars, so to speak. And they're
Cool.
in the music community, you know who they are, but if I mentioned them to my wife, she wouldn't know
Sure. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
type of thing. but oh, it's a lot of fun. It's really the and I end up shooting a lot of video there and then putting it up on the channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I've met a lot of people. Wonderful time. Would you mind if I shared that with Jimmy and just say you
No,
got to
not at
get this
all.
guy?
I'd love to go.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
you can make your mark there. Really, it's there's something about the Texas. I say this almost on every one of these podcasts. I've lived in LA, I've lived in a lot of places, but there's something about the Texas music scene that's unlike anything else. There's no egos.
Yeah.
These guys, I don't know that he pays them a ton of money, probably covers their expenses, but they play with each other and you never know. It'll be one guy and you say, yeah, I need a bass player. Now, okay, I'll sit in with you. And
Yeah.
so you have a real mix of different characters playing in the same band, and gosh, it's great. Yeah,
That's
Red
cool.
plays there, does this thing called the Masters of the Telecaster.
Yeah.
So it's like five Telecasters on stage,
Sweet.
and guys like Greg Koch and all kinds of players that just can really rip. I'd love to get you there.
Oh, I'd love to do it. That'd be fun.
Um, so what was your first guitar? Was it one that was hard to play where the action was real high and
I remember what was it? I can't remember the brand. My mom took me down to Spino Music in Auburn, New York.
Mhm.
It was a tiny little custom amp. I remember the custom amp. I can't remember what kind of guitar it was. It was kind of like it was a Stag or something. I don't know, but
Wow.
yeah,
That's not coming through the shop very often, is it?
no. But she was basically, I'll get you this guitar, and if you're serious about it, we'll obviously get a better guitar. And then I started taking guitar lessons at the store at Spino Music. This great guitar player, David Kuykendall, and we became buddies. And I believe I bought a Telecaster off him eventually, and that was like my first like, oh, this is a pretty cool guitar. Um, but at the time, I was trying to soak in so much music. I mean, I was listening to everything, Guns N' Roses to Jefferson Airplane to Buddy Guy to just everything, anything I could listen to. So my guitar taste would change all the time. I'd be like, oh, I want this guitar. I need one of these guitars. But I'm trying the first nice guitar was like a Mexican Strat. It was Sonic Blue. That's one I played all the time for a long time. So
Yeah, there can be a kind of a snobbery that comes. First off, great guitars are great guitars, and a lot of the older ones, the wood is so dry. And I had this discussion with a couple of guitar players that if you look at the wood from like the 50s, and then you look at wood that's just maybe from the 2000s, the grain is so different.
oh
They're
sure.
not The newer wood just isn't allowed to mature and it's pretty wide grain where it's really super tight on like the old tellies, and that makes a difference. And we're chopping down wood a little too soon, and they
Sure.
figured out how to make it grow quicker, but it's not the same. And it can
Yeah.
be the same thing with two by fours when you're building a house. The
Oh,
old
sure.
wood, yeah, the wood's better back then.
And
Um,
when I was younger too, it was always I was trying to trade up for better guitars. Like, oh, I got this cool guitar, I'd play it for a while, and then I'd be like, oh, I want this one. And you just keep trading and trading and trading. And we still do that today. So it
yeah,
never ends.
for me, it was always paying the rent.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've ended up with now just a telly and an acoustic, and I'm happy. And my trading days are gone. Buying and selling vintage guitars.
Sure.
I prefer to provide the tools for people to do that on their own, and
Yeah.
guys like Elliot, and just what's interesting is these guys don't need me. They don't need the Pure Vintage site, but they still help. It's almost like it's not a charity, but it's like I don't know why they do it. It's Elliot's got that reputation where he never even really has to advertise. So it's always special when you do a demo. It's something most guys don't do anymore, and a lot of them just put up really crappy looking pictures. They don't take the time. But and this always amazes me about Rumble Seat, it's usually three pictures.
Mhm.
You don't do the ripping the neck off and showing the dates. It's just assumed Elliot's going to have decent stuff.
Yeah.
And it's always special when I'm looking at the ads and I go, oh, all right, there's a video here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I have the pleasure of demoing a lot of those guitars, and it's like, I'm a kid in a candy shop, so I love it.
So you enjoy doing that part of the job, right?
Oh, it's my favorite part. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Play these
Yeah.
instruments. Not a lot of
Very.
people play all the time, so.
Yeah. And you have a couple of Les Pauls as well.
Yeah. So I have an R8 that I
Okay.
really, and then I have an R4 gold
Nice.
I really like. Yeah. So I got some Les Pauls. I mean, I got too much stuff, man. You know how it is. It always just you see something, you got to have it, and
Yeah.
never ends. A 62 SG Junior got a few months ago.
Nice. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What do I have? I got a 56 silver Harmony Stratotone, which I love playing slide on.
Those are great. Those are underrated.
Yeah, you can probably see it right there. It's killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
59 Silvertone Espinata, which is really great for jump blues. Um,
Do you generally go through pedals and effects, or are you pretty much straight into the box?
no, the only thing I use is a reverb tank. I have a 1962 Fender reverb tank. Um, my amps, it really depends on the venue.
Mhm.
It's usually volume wise. Forever, I was playing a 1965 Super Reverb.
Mhm.
I love the sound of that amp. I love Ampi Geminis. I play those
Those
a
are
lot.
nice. Yeah.
Um,
Those have really come into their own over the last few years and
that's-
becoming more collectible.
yeah, and they're pretty cheap still, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use a Tweed Deluxe, a 58 Tweed Deluxe, a lot for recording. Um, Lately though, I've been playing. There's this guy Wayne Headstrong, and he makes amps modeled after that. Mine's modeled after like a 1965 Blackface Deluxe, and man, it sounds so good. I play it all the time. It's reliable. It
Yeah.
sounds like an old amp, um, and it's a good volume too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the times I'll be, I have a 57 Tweed Pro. I play a lot too, but it can push some air, sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I was going to say, do you like carrying the heavy stuff into a club anymore, or
it
are you
doesn't
going?
it doesn't
What's
bother me.
that?
It doesn't bother
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
You're still young.
Yeah. I mean, today I was looking at a 64 blonde baseman, and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, do I want to move this everywhere? I don't care.
Brother. Yeah. Those were always great because, there was like in the early days, really in the 70s, it was like, that's really a great guitar amp.
Oh, yeah.
It's a basement, but it's really great for guitars.
Yeah.
Um, I did something interesting. I thought I was going to I tell I s- when I do these podcasts, I think I was telling the same stories all the time, but I was going to be a screenwriter. That's what I fancied myself being in college. And I just happened to pull the textbook out, and all these ads from the LA Times, which is how you used to find guitars, fell out, ones that I'd clipped. And so it was like from 1974, I think. And it was like LG1 and asking $100, but we'll negotiate. I'm going, jeez. It was like a 50s. I'm going, wow, that's great.
Yeah, totally.
Those days are long gone, aren't they?
Yeah, rearview mirror.
Yeah, right. I have a nice Hall of Fame of guitars that have passed through here, like a halfway house. But that's all I've got now is the pictures because when I was doing it, I viewed it as a business. I kind of wish I was better off than I am. I'm in pretty good shape now financially, and I can't find affordable, great vintage guitars. They're priced so out of sight.
It's wild. Yeah.
So when you're in the shop, who typically is bringing, when you guys sell a collection, it's out of somebody's collection, is it from a third party that bought it from like a Joe Bonamassa, or is he actually bringing in items to sell? How does that usually work?
Well, Elliot's been doing it since the early '90s. So
Yeah,
I mean, there's people from all over the world that call him when they have really cool guitars, and
right.
they want Elliot to buy the guitars, whether they want him to consign the guitars. It just depends. But
Yeah,
um, some people will walk in through the door with amazing guitars. Some people will just email us saying, "Hey, we have this rare, whatever the guitar is," and I think the biggest thing I think is his reputation of doing it for so long, and people
Right.
trust him. And yeah, he's got a great clientele of customers that bring him really great guitars, and he's always looking for really cool guitars too.
That's why the 3 pictures is so cool. He doesn't have to take 20 pictures. And
Yeah.
on my end, when I'm putting your stuff up on Pure Vintage, it's always I can do like 20 of Elliot's in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Where other ones are like, oh God, he took 20 pictures. He's showing the screws on the pick guard, please. I mean,
Sure.
but
I mean,
and that's
we
good.
we get, if someone has a question on a guitar, we'll pop it right open, send them
Right.
right. But yeah, his pictures are, you instantly know it's his pictures with the rug and everything. So
Super marketer. I mean, that was brilliant when he started doing that.
yeah.
Yeah. The question I always love is how much does it weigh? And I'm always, especially when they're talking about a 74 Les Paul, a custom, and they go, "Is it 8 pounds?" No, it's 11 pounds. Oh, it's too heavy for me. And I go, Randy Rhoads used to drag one of those up on stage and play for 2 hours. Okay, just stop. It's it is what it is. And I like Les Pauls, but I seem to enjoy playing Fenders more.
Sure.
They're easier on my fingers, and I don't know.
I had this reissue. What was it? It was a 50. It was reissue 54. It was reissue 54 or 5. But anyway, it had a Bigsby on it because I saw a picture of Carl Perkins and I was like, hey, he had a Bigsby on his whole time. It was cool. So it was right when we kind of first moved to Nashville and we started playing on Broadway all the time. And they're 4-hour gigs. And then we would do doubles. So you do 8 hours in one day.
Wow.
And that guitar probably weighed 10 pounds, with the Bigsby, and it was just way too heavy anyway. And I remember I went to like get a physical, and she was looking at me. She said, "What do you do for a living?" And I was like, "Well, I play guitar. I'm a musician." She goes, "Your shoulders are insanely crooked." And where the guitar was resting on my, like, I didn't know, but my shoulder was like going like that.
Brother, you better be careful, or they're going to be talking about a shoulder replacement before you're 40.
I sold that guitar like right after that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, this is way too heavy, man.
Oh man,
But it looked cool, man, with the Bigsby and everything.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know how I knew them growing up. I shot a lot of video back in the mid '70s of Quiet Riot, and I'd watch him swing that thing around. I'm going, he was such a small guy, but golly, just as if it was 3 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, you would never.
That was always the battle. You mentioned Eddie Van Halen. It was always, Eddie or Randy, Eddie or Randy. That was the whole buzz in L.A. Who's going to get signed first, Van Halen or Quiet Riot?
I love them both.
Yeah, they're both great players, no doubt about it. Who else? Who do you like right now, currently? Is that a tough question to answer? I know you like a lot of different music, but are there any artists, any guitar players that just rock you and make you say, "Wow"?
Ooh, man, that's a tough question. Golly.
I mean, you're seeing all the greats there in Nashville.
Yeah. Oh my. I mean, it's endless. Jeez. I mean, some of my favorite people that are living, guitar player like Junior Watson, Kid Ramos, um, Rick Holdstrom, Johnny Moeller out of Austin, Texas, plays with
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. Boy, there's so many. Yeah, there's just so many great. I mean, Kenny Vaughan here in Nashville is unbelievable. JD Simo is unbelievable.
He is.
Um,
He really is. Yeah. Do you get asked to do any sessions at all? Or
I do.
are you
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Anything from roots music to, I mean, I've played on like pop records before. And yeah, I mean, my favorite thing is when I get asked to do what I do, which is whatever that is, rock and roll, blues, R&B, soul. When they're just like, just do what you do. That's my favorite. But I mean, I've played on, like I said, pop records and country records. I just go whatever they want. That's what I'm there to do. and I always try to do what's best for the song. It's
Right.
never about, I never go in there trying to, play a bunch of notes or whatever. I just, whatever the
Yeah.
song says, that's what you play. So,
You got
yeah,
to read the room, right?
yeah, of course you got, that's what makes you a musician is playing something musical.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed guitar players that play just enough.
Yeah.
It's when they've gone too far, and like in the '70s when you'd go to a concert, and the drum solo was usually an excuse to go hit the head or get a beer. I hate to say
Well,
it, but even the other band members would walk, behind the stage and do whatever they do. Okay, 10 minutes, he's almost done, and come back out. But I'm not a big fan of bands that have, quote, a leader. I
yeah.
like ensembles more, and it doesn't matter what style of music, but when they can all kind of rotate
Yeah.
and blended together, it sounds better than somebody soloing.
Yeah. Well, like what you just said a second ago, another one of my favorite guitar players is Jimmy Vaughan. And
Oh man, yeah,
the whole thing is the space between the notes, which
yeah,
is something that I've been obsessed with the last few years. Everybody can overplay. That's easy, but can you use the restraint to not overplay? And Jimmy Vaughn is just like, one of the quintessential players, like him and Anson Thunderbird, who's
mm,
one of my favorite guitar players.
yeah,
Um, they just know how to use that restraint, where to put the notes. And you don't think about it, but it's really that space between the notes that puts that emotion that you're feeling in there. I mean, BB King
yes,
hit one note and you just get, you know, goosebumps all over you,
yeah. And it was Miles Davis, I think, that said it's the notes that you don't play, which I
really.
always quote. Yeah,
Because when you're younger, all you want to do is show people what you can do, right? That's
right, right.
kid, you're in your 20s, look what I can do. And then you start figuring out like, well, no, it's really about putting the notes in the right places and letting the song do what the song should do, let the emotion, because that's the most important part, really.
When I see Red Volkert play, he's like a phrase master. He does these little runs in the middle of a couple chord changes. And if you've ever seen him up close, he's got like sausage fingers, but he sounds so damn clean.
Oh, he's
Never
so
misses a
good.
note. Yeah.
We were at
He,
what was it? The Amigo guitar show. I think it was last year. It was Tommy Emmanuel and Red, and they were playing, and we were all just sitting there like, oh my goodness,
yeah,
this is as good as it gets right here.
it is a very humble man too. That's one I really enjoy when I go to that show out there. I enjoy just shooting as much video as I can of him. He's so well respected, and
Yeah.
yeah. But it's great to see him when he comes to this little dive bar. They actually put a tip. Here's a guy that's played with everybody.
Yeah.
There's a little tip jar, like a little spittoon at the front of the stage. It's a tiny place, and they actually have to go around and go, okay, we're passing around the tip jar. And I asked him once. I said, "Why do you like playing? You can play anywhere in Charlotte." And he told me this, and I'll never forget it. He says it reminds me of the honky tonks in Western Canada when I was growing up that I played in.
Oh, cool.
And I just said, "Okay, that says it all." Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
doesn't he doesn't need the glory. And he plays everywhere.
yeah.
I think the best musician. It's good to hear that you get a lot of session gigs. The best musicians that I know here in Charlotte have to do the business part of it also. I think some musicians are waiting to be discovered. Others make sure that they're playing 4 or 5 nights a week and booking it themselves. And
Yeah.
and if you don't do that, it's going to be a real shot in the dark whether you're ever going to be successful. And
Yeah.
whatever that means, some people just don't want to be the big rock stars, and I get that. Some just want to be able to make a good living out of being musicians, and I've got a lot of friends like that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure out what's your goal? Do you want to be on Rolling Stone? Do you want to be, what do you want to do? My thing has always been, I don't care what happens as long as I get to play the guitar and I can make
Mm,
a living doing it and provide, for my family. That's all I've ever cared about. I could
yeah.
discuss about, awards or fame or being on a magazine. I don't care about any of that crap. It's just, I just want to play music. That's what I've always
Yeah,
really dug, and that's what I've always wanted to do. And I'm fortunate to be able to do that, so
it is. It's that's a good attitude to have too. It's I don't know. It's I see people struggling to try and get discovered, but the odds are so tough now. There's so many players out there. And if you can, I think as you get older, you're going, this is fun. I don't have to work in a corporate grind.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
there's
take it from a guy that lived had to work in a corporate grind for 30 years. It's not
yeah,
fun.
there's the
Yeah.
other side too. I know plenty of musicians that just play gigs like around town.
Yeah.
The towns that they live in, and they make a living. There's a big misconception that unless you're on The Voice or you're on TV or something, you can't make it as a musician, which is just
Crazy.
complete ludicrous. But if you don't understand this side of the business, I guess you don't understand it. They're like, oh, unless you're on TV or something. But there's so many people making a living, doing sessions, writing songs for people, or just playing live gigs, so
Yeah, the ones that I know that hate the question, well, how come you haven't made it yet? Oh man, they hate that because it's like I play 5, 6 nights a week. I've got a following in all these cities. What do you mean I didn't make it? I wish I had taken, I started playing guitar when I was in like 1967. And I always had the early instruments that I bought, I had to buy them from like organ stores. They weren't really guitar stores. And I'd go back a couple weeks later with my mom and I'd say, I can't push the strings. I didn't know how to even say it properly. I said, I can't push the strings down. They're hurting my fingers. And the guy would hold his, have a cigar and he'd go, listen, I don't know how to fix that for you. I just sell them. And I'd go, okay. And that made me a lot of times say, well, I think I'll go play football or baseball, put it
sure.
down. And I wish I had better equipment then. I, I'm in a phase right now where I want to go back. I've always played by ear, which sounds cool, but it's very limiting in a lot of ways if you can't read music. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
And I
sure.
want to go back now. I've got some Mel Bay books. I'm going back and just stripping it all back. And I've talked to you about taking lessons with you, but I want to start from the very beginning and
Yeah.
get rid of the bad habits and really try to understand the structure and the theory of music, which I've never done. I
Yeah.
know what I hear, what sounds good to me, but I want to know more. And I've got spare time now, so I'm focused on that.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I still want to take lessons from you.
Hey, anytime, you just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you take anybody and help them?
I can always try.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. That's an honest assessment. Now,
Yeah.
your wife is does your wife just sing or is she also play an instrument?
She's a singer. Yep.
Singer, okay.
Yep. Yeah. We formed the band in 2015. Um, yeah, we moved here in 2014, and
Yeah.
yeah, we started playing on Broadway, and then started getting a lot of different opportunities. We recorded on a label out in LA, and yeah, I mean, we've traveled all over the country and a lot of places in Europe. So we've had a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
did she have her own solo career when you met her? Or
Yeah, she had her own band in Auburn, and
okay,
I had my own band too. But we were both fans of each other's band, and she sent me a message one day that said, "Hey, I think we should join forces." And I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah, let's play together." And then we developed a relationship while we were playing together. And at that same time, I was about to move to Nashville, and I was like, "Oh, we should move to Nashville." And she's like, "Heck yeah!" So that's how that whole thing started. And then we formed the band, and here we are. Here we are in Nashville still.
I thought it was very cool a couple years ago seeing you. That you guys had a baby, and it's like you seem like a happy guy, even when you're playing. And no, it's easy to be a sourpuss these days. I don't see you being affected by any of that. I think you're very modest. Um, and honestly, and I'm not just trying to like give you latitudes because that's what I'm supposed to do. The truth is, when I put up one of your videos, people really connect. And I'm surprised by how many people will tell me, they'll say in the comments, they'll say, Austin is one of my favorite guitar players.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I know you from the shop originally, and
Mhm.
I'm going, wow, I guess he's really got a big following. Congratulations to you on that.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man,
Even if you haven't made it.
um, yeah, I mean, man, I just love to play guitar, and I get to
Yeah.
play with my wife, which is super fun. We've got to experience so many cool things together. You know, most people play in a band and they have to tell their wife about what happened. You know, she's right
Yeah.
next to me, which is super fun. And then we had a son last year, which is, it's the coolest thing I've ever done is watching him grow and
Yeah.
it's just it's unbelievable. I can't describe how cool it is, you know.
It
So
really is. I wish I had, when I look back, no regrets, but I was working a lot, traveling a lot. But I've got four grandchildren. And now I get to like,
awesome.
spoil the heck. Oh yeah, I love them. When they call you, you know, everybody I know wants a cool grandparent name, like Nana, Pops.
Yeah, sure.
Wife wants to be called Mimi.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they said, "What do you want to be called?" And I said, "Grandpa. Give me Grandpa all day long." And when they say your name, it's like, "Hey, Grandpa." God, it's a moment of joy. I'm
Oh man.
not trying to give you advice, but because I don't think you need it, but boy, spend every second you can with that little guy.
Oh man, it's the only I love playing guitar. I love,
Yeah,
doing a bunch of other stuff, but anytime I have, it's with him. That's my favorite thing. I mean, I love coming home knowing he's home, and he was just upstairs, hi dad, dad, hi dad, dad. And it's every time he
yeah,
says it, oh my God, this is awesome.
yeah. And they are eternally grateful just to be in your presence. They can light you up.
I love,
Um,
like, I'll play guitar
yeah.
and just like stare at me like, oh,
Oh, that's terrific. Now
yeah.
you'll never, let me ask you, this is a good question. You'll never like not hide your guitars, but say, hey, you can't touch that one. Will you always let him like, even if he breaks it? I mean, what's your attitude about all that?
Well, I mean, some of the vintage ones like that 64, 335, some of these ones like I got to put away because they're worth, a
Yeah,
decent amount of change. But I would never tell them, you can't play this guitar or whatever,
yeah,
you can see an organ behind here. There's drums. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. Whatever he wants to do, he can. It is funny though. I've told my wife I've had this dream recently where like I wake up and I go downstairs and like there's like crayon all over my guitars or marker or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably put like my really, valuable vintage guitars in the closet in the cases. But no, and the other thing too is like, if he likes music, that's awesome. If he wants to do
yeah.
something, it's completely awesome too. I'm just here for whatever he wants to do with his time here, So
You got a great attitude, my friend. Yeah. How
yeah.
how old are you?
um 34. Yeah.
You're an old soul already. I mean that as a compliment. You just, yeah, you got a good attitude towards life. And I remember times where I got upset with my kids. I'd give anything to not react the way I did back then. Never spanked them or anything, but as you get older, you just realize how precious every moment is.
Sure.
Uh,
It's
Congratulations.
it's interesting now because we have a phone, right? So we can, you can see him aging so quick, and how much he's
Yeah,
changing, how much he's doing all the time. It's so fascinating. But I remember before we had our son, I'd talk to people and they'd be like, I'd be like, what's it like having a kid and stuff like that? And they're like, oh, it'll change everything, blah blah blah. And the second I held him, it was like, your world is spinning this way and it stops, and
yeah.
it starts going the other way, and you're like, whoa, this is, what's important, you know, your time and all this stuff. It just goes right to him. So
Yeah, you become a much less selfish person. Uh, you
it's,
know,
yeah, you have
I
to. Yeah.
One story I love to tell is my wife and I had just gotten married. We lived in Annapolis, Maryland, and it was 1985, and it was when Paul Reed Smith was just starting.
Yeah.
And he had a shop that I used to walk by every day on the way back home. And it actually had one of those old-fashioned display windows, like in old, country city, country towns.
Yeah.
And I used to walk by, and there was that iconic maple top, the gold top with the red back.
Yeah.
And I'd walk by that and I'd go, oh, well, I got to have that guitar. I've never seen anything like this. Fenders, Gibsons, what is this? It's beautiful. And when you first get married, your wife always shares all your dreams. I remember bringing the brochure back, and she said, "Yeah, let's get that guitar. I think it'd be great for you." And then she got pregnant, and she goes, "We're not getting that guitar, okay? We got to get a crib." And
Oh,
that's the reality. And back then, you go, "Yeah, that's really what's important." And the guitar,
it's
And
funny.
then it took me 30 years to get a Paul Reed Smith after that, an old, pre 1000 serial number. And the truth was, I hated it. I couldn't play the neck at all.
What's funny, man, is the best guitars are my favorite guitars that I've gotten over the years. My wife was really the one that kind of convinced me to get it, because I'd be like, I don't know, should I get this? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. She'd be like, just go get it. I'm like, okay, cool. And they've turned out to be some of the best guitars that I've had over the years and played them the most. So I'm
Yeah.
very fortunate. I mean, I'm right next to her with a screaming loud amp, so she's got to hear me all the
Now, is your hearing still okay? Or are you wearing earplugs?
time. Just recently, I've actually started wearing like earplugs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a I, I'm a loud guitar player. I've always kind of been pretty loud because
Yeah.
I don't use any pedals, so I take the amp, I turn it up, I use a reverb tank, and but recently, yeah, I've starting to use some earplugs because I'm starting to get the tinnitus, and I'm like, man, I'm too young for this. I gotta take care of my ears. So
Yeah. You see the Pete Townsends, they're all deaf, and they were playing in those high watt stacks behind them, whether they had speakers in them or not. It looked good, but
yeah,
you know,
but
uh,
there's something about moving that air. You
yeah.
play better, you feel it better. So I'm trying to get used to them, but it's a different thing for me right now.
When I was in high school, I saw Jeff Beck Bogart in a piece, and I was right in front of the front row at the Palladium in LA. And he had a high watt amp. I think it was a high watt, but right in front of me. And
Oh,
literally for the next week, my hearing was affected. It was ringing. I probably did, when that happens, you do permanent damage. You just don't
no.
realize it until you get older. But back then, it was like, throw some more sweat at me. I'm in the front row. I'm going, go, go, go.
Man,
Yeah.
I was just playing in Lucerne, Switzerland. We're doing a blues festival up there,
Yeah.
and there was a couple fans that were right up front, and I was talking to them before we played, and I was playing a super reverb, and the super reverb was pointed right at them. They're right in the front row, and I just kind of like nailed down, and I was like, you might want to put some earplugs in, because even where I'm standing, I mean, it's on like 6 or 7. I mean, it's cooking with a
Ooh.
Stratocaster, and they just sat there and just ate it up the whole time. But I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're in the danger zone, man.
Yeah. Do you like the fans and do you like playing in Europe or is it a
Oh,
different?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different, man. They love American music, and
Yeah.
Americans come over and play, blues, rockabilly, rock and roll. Like they just eat it up. I love playing over there.
I was fortunate enough to see and actually got to, in high school, uh, well, I can say it now, but in between sets at the whiskey, buying a beer for Rory Gallagher.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, and he was he reminds me of you a little bit in how humble he was. You know, in between sets, he just like, go up to the bar. He's wearing a flannel shirt, not being, but God, one of my all-time favorites. And if you look on YouTube, the reason I asked you about European fans, you see why he was so popular internationally. He knew how to work the crowd. They just loved him. He was a showman
Yeah,
without being showy. You know what I mean?
totally. One of my favorite guitar players. And he doesn't get talked about enough either, as far as guitar
No,
player. I mean, just playing that Stratocaster, and I mean, he was completely one with that guitar. I mean,
yes,
just fearless. And it was that same thing. It was like we were talking about earlier. It was like you never knew where he was going to go.
right.
He would just go to this place and then he'd come back and then he'd go to this place. You're just like, oh, that's the stuff that's so inspiring to me. And another guitar player I should have mentioned earlier, that's one of my favorites that's still alive, is Brian Setzer. And he's another
Oh
one.
yeah.
He doesn't get enough credit, man. Like he can play jazz, he can play swing, he can play rockabilly, he can play blues, he can play everything, and he melds it all together. And he's one of my favorites too. That's just same thing. You don't know where he's going to go. He's, his chord voicing is unbelievable.
Yeah. I remember a story I read that Muddy Waters, there were a bunch of, he went over to England and he did a session album where all the hot rock guitar players, Keith Richards, Eric Clapton, and he had one demand. He wanted Rory Gallagher to be in that session, which, what else can you say? I mean, that's what I mean by guitar player's guitar player. He really he recognized the talent there. So great. And
He
it
had
was such a
everything.
sad ending.
He had everything too. He was a great singer. He could write cool songs. He was a great guitar player. Yeah. He was fun to watch.
Oh my gosh. He
I wish I
we
got to
used
see him
to.
live. I never got to see him live.
Oh man, I'm telling you that I always tell the same stories, but every band there was a period in the early 70s, 70 to 74. I worked at a record store in LA that was one of the first ones that in high school was one of the first ones to start importing English albums. And the guy was an Englishman that had opened the store, and he would also bring Melody Maker magazine in. It was always like a month old, so it would come and you'd say, "Wow, look at this new super group that's going," Blind Faith, and
Yeah.
then like by the time the magazine got over there, they'd already broken up, something like that. But Rory Gallagher, that's how I discovered Rory Gallagher. We were some of the first ones to hear the English pressings and just going, hey, and he's coming to the whiskey for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a
Well,
wonderful time to be in LA listening to music.
it's like you said earlier, you were talking about YouTube. I mean, my generation, a lot of my favorite artists and guitar players, I mean, they were gone. So I never got to see them. So
Yeah.
YouTube is such an amazing tool to be able to go back and look at these, live recordings and just be in awe. Like you're there, you're not there, but you're still
Yeah.
being watching.
When I shoot video, I don't like, I'm not a fan of this is the excuse I use. The truth is, I'm a one-man band, so I can't jump around doing all that crazy editing stuff. But I
Yeah.
do like to have the camera just in front of the whole stage, showing the whole band. And especially when I'm in Dallas, I want people to have the experience that they're sitting there watching a concert and it's not focused on just you, the guitar player. I hate that. Or the real quick edits that are like jumping all over the place. I think that's really passe at this point. Just
Sure.
like a camera recording live what's going on.
Yeah.
So we got to get you out there, man. We got to get you out there.
I think we played in Dallas. It was called Six Springs Tavern. I think it's gone now. It was the venue out there. We played there a couple times. Jim Heath from Reverend Horton Heat came out and played with us. That was
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
We hit Austin, we hit Houston. Um, yeah, we just got to keep making our rounds over there more.
But I mean, I want to get you to this, to Jimmy's show.
Oh, I'd love to. That'd be great.
Oh, brother, because you might be playing with some people you really love. And I got, I don't know that I got any pull with him, but I'm going to show him some of your videos if
Cool.
he hasn't seen you already. Um,
Perfect.
yeah. Um, Wow, it's been a delight, man. I could talk to you for hours. I will take you up again on lessons because I like your style, and if anybody can teach me something, I think it's probably you.
Well, I'll do my best. I mean, I just like playing guitar, man. Whatever capacity that means.
Do you
So,
teach currently? I mean, do you have people that you do
yep.
really a lot?
Yeah, it keeps me busy. I usually do like Sundays and Mondays with students.
Really?
Yeah, anywhere from someone that's never touched the guitar to people that I think are better than me. They just want to learn the certain style that I do, I guess, or whatever. Or that some people just want to learn songs. I'm always My thing is always whatever the person wants to do, that's what we're gonna
Right,
do. A lot of kids get turned away from music because someone's telling them you have to learn this song, you have to learn this, you have
right.
to, and it's that's not fun. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to learn songs, and the first song I ever learned was "Hey Joe" by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, that's a great one. Everybody
Yeah,
played that.
yeah. So like, you know, I remember going and getting guitar lessons and learning like, wow, all these shapes are starting to like, I'm starting to figure out what's going on, you know. So I remember those moments, and I still have them every day because I'm never satisfied with my guitar playing. It's always I gotta keep getting better at this or that. It's always so I always have that in my head that, you know, I want to get better at something all the time. So if I'm teaching somebody, I want to make sure that they're learning something that they're interested in to keep them excited about the instrument, you know.
I got a question for you because the trouble that I have, and I don't know if it would have been better when I was younger. I can't I need you go to you see somebody playing and they've got their iPad there. And
Yeah.
I always thought, well, that's one thing, but I've learned that I have a hard time memorizing the songs. If I have the chords in front of me and I've got backing music, I can play them.
Yeah.
But if somebody said to me, play Smoke on the Water right now, I'd have no idea. And I
Yeah.
don't, is there a memory trick to being able to remember your songs?
Yeah. Repetition. Yeah.
Just not, yeah, practice, practice, practice.
I keep practicing. Yeah. You know, um, I had a student that, you know, we kept doing the same thing every week, and they're like, yeah, I'm just not getting it. And I'm like, man, you just gotta, it's just repetition over and over and over and over. It's the muscle memory, you know. Your
Right.
brain is just like, oh yeah, I've done this before, you know. That's what it comes down to me. And your hands will go to the right place because you've done it so much, you know.
Yeah.
I do think when you're younger, you know, when you're in your teens and stuff like that, I feel like it's easier to soak this stuff in because you don't have, you know, maybe you don't have a job, maybe you don't have a wife, you know, you don't, you know, I remember coming home from school and all I wanted to do was listen to music and turn on records and just sit there. I mean, I would sit there in the guitar in my room all night just trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, when you're older and you have a life and you have a kid and blah, 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 you know, you don't have, you know, hours of all night to just sit there and play guitar, you know. So a lot of the times I'll just turn on records, try to soak in what that is. And, you know, like I said, mentioned earlier, any free time I usually have, I'm with my son trying to, you know, hang out with
Be a
him.
good dad.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
there for him. So when it's late at night and everyone's asleep, you know, a lot of times I'll put on records, and that's my time to be like, okay, I need to get really better at this or that. But it's fun when you're younger and you don't have any responsibilities and you're just, you know.
Well, guess what? Once you retire, which my wife says, well, you're really retired. Well, I spend probably 8 to 10 hours a day on pure vintage doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
But the truth is, when you're retired, you get that little bit of that freedom back.
yeah,
You don't have the stress. You pay. You'll know this. Maybe you've already done it, but you pay the house off. You don't have a car payment,
yeah,
and you can actually save money. And you're right. You have. I've got a bunch of chords that I know by heart. It's just the song itself. I can't. If I hear it, so I've got an app that I use called Chordify.
yeah, sure.
It's basically you can upload any YouTube video or any of your original recordings. It does the transcription. It does a pretty good job. And what that has done for me through the years has made my timing better on chord changes, which I think is critical. You
Yeah,
don't realize how slow you are until you're trying to like keep up with the recording itself.
yeah.
But it's a crutch, and I know it's a crutch, and I want to get away from that. And that's why I'm talking about, stripping everything away and starting
Yeah.
from scratch again.
Yeah, a lot of time, man, I'll just turn on a metronome and I'll just sit there and play. It doesn't even matter what I'm playing, but I'm just
Right.
trying to get, you know, we always have to work on our timing, no matter who you
Yeah.
are, you know, what part of your career. You just always have to do it. So yeah,
I think rhythm guitar is underrated, still underrated.
100%,
It's not the star stuff, but a good rhythm guitar player just kicks ass.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brother, it's been really I feel like I know you a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And
Likewise.
I will reach out to you in the next month or so about doing that. Got this brand new telly, and I'm ready to learn some new licks. And
Yeah. Let's do it.
um, let me know if you want to a little help in finding where to play in Charlotte. I'll get you set up.
Okay.
I'd love to help you. And I mean it when I say it. You're one of my favorite guitar players, and I'd like to consider you a friend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Yeah. If you have any new stuff coming out, let me know and we'll do this again. And like I said, I like the nighttime record, doing this at night better than I do during the day.
Sure.
It's like being in a club or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out for both of us.
Best of luck with your son. And you got it all, man. You got the right attitude. It's great to hear all that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just like playing guitar and, making music. So,
and you do it well.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you very much. You've been very generous with your time, brother.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay. You have a good evening.
All right, you too. Take care.
Thank you, Austin. Bye.